Welcome to the Velolife podcast. This is episode number 7. And the first one we are going to attempt to record video as well, which will be pretty interesting. So yeah, that should be pretty cool. Jono, how's your couple of weeks been?
Been alright, thank you very much.
Yeah. Sounds pretty chilled.
Spent it making cables.
Yeah.
Bringing you.
Did you do a good job?
It's a fantastic job. It's a piece of art, carrying your microphone signals and your headphone signals back to the mixer.
It makes me very happy because I don't have coiled cables everywhere anymore, which is really a good thing. See, Dale can't even find the cables.
Well, there are still a lot of cables in here, to be fair. I'm just trying to work out what has changed. I imagine it's behind us, those cables.
Well done. Dale, how's your couple of weeks been?
Yeah, not too bad.
No?
I think managed to get a little bit more training in, which has been good, but work has been pretty busy, so the whole period has been pretty hectic. Although, over the last couple of weeks, I have had a few people, just in general conversation, when I've been on like text messages and stuff, saying, oh yeah, and on the pod you said this, or I heard this, or, you know, just generally comment about it. So it's been nice to hear it coming out. Yeah,
that's very good. That's very good. Sammy? How's your couple of weeks been?
Yeah, pretty chill. Back to normal after kind of being ill over Christmas. Quite enjoying the routine again of getting back into work. And yeah.
And I believe your train was cancelled tonight?
Yeah, I mean, that's not so fun, but no.
What, coming back from Swift?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
nasty.
they just decided to cancel the Elizabeth line.
Yeah, that's always fun. I have had a hectic couple of weeks. It just, every time I think it's not going to be hectic, it appears to be even more hectic. So, so a little bit annoying, but also good. We've got all sorts of stuff going on. So, but yeah, otherwise, all good. Still not training all that much.
Yes, we need to talk about that because we do have Project 500 ongoing, and I've been taking that very, very seriously. And making sure that I'm doing a minimum of 10 hours a week, knowing that over the summer I'll get some extra hours in.
Yeah.
How many hours have you done so far, Lee? Because you should be about 40 hours in if you want to be on track.
I think I've done around about 10% of that up to now.
4 hours.
But, you know, it's just the way some people work, right? Without pressure, what's the point? It's just like...
So you're planning to do 400 hours in December?
No, not quite 400 hours. Is there 400 hours in December? Yes, there will be 400 hours in December, but I'm not going to be writing
just over 600, I think.
However, you know, I need a little bit of pressure. Otherwise, you know, by the time you get to July and you've been doing 10 hours a week, isn't it going to be a bit boring?
No, you'd be flying. You'd be going really well. That's what I'm thinking. By the time we get to July, this will all be worth it. No, it'll only be worth it on the 1st of January next year. That's when it will all be worth it. I am just on the cusp of starting to get concerned. And the next couple of weeks I'm not going to be able to ride almost at all. So then I'm really going to be concerned. And then by then I think the pressure would have mounted a little bit, and it will then suffice as a really worthwhile task.
But then you can do all your mileage in the summer when it's like hotter. But I mean, actually, as I say this, you don't really ride in the summer. You're one of those weird people who actually just ups his mileage in winter. So traditionally,
there's less going on. You know, why do you want to be at home for a barbecue when it's dark and raining? So you may as well ride, I guess. Also, there's just less. Yeah, it's actually, it is going, all jokes aside, is going to be a really, really tall order for me this year because Sarah, my wife, she's doing her master's, so she's away. So I'm doing far more kid duty than I would normally do because she's studying and at university. And part of that master's is a big chunk of practical where she has to actually do work experience. So she'll be working full time. So if I manage to get it right, it really will be a huge achievement. It's going to be quite challenging. So maybe it'll spark me to form some different habits. Maybe I'll start getting up earlier in the morning. I don't know. So, but yeah, it's gonna be a tall.
By the time you get on the bike, you're gonna have to fit it all into 10 months.
Yes,
February will be pretty much done.
Yeah.
And then it's 50 hours a month.
50 hours a month,
and that is a lot.
It's a lot.
Oh yeah.
But if you do a couple of like 24-hour events or something, anyway, talking about a lot. Actually, now that you mention it, I was reading this week that only 30 riders have won 100 pro events. Pro wins, let's just leave, because some of them are stages as a tour, which is considered a pro win. Others is a full monument, which is considered a pro win. But it was a lot less than I had imagined. I don't know if...
Is that across all time?
Yeah, that's across all time. Only 30 riders have won more. There's a huge debate as to what should class as a pro event, and I didn't go down the rabbit hole, if I'm completely honest, because when I started looking at some of it, there were huge arguments as to what classed as what, and, you know, does your local club ride consider as a pro event?
Well, if you can get to the 30-mile-an-hour sign just past Windsor Racecourse before everybody else, that is the biggest win.
That's a pro win.
It's up there with Liège-Bastogne-Liège.
Well, okay, then I still don't have any pro wins, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, I just found it really interesting that it was only 30 riders have got. Any idea? In fact, let me ask you this. Pop quiz. Here we go. Do you know who's done the most wins?
Eddie Merckx.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know how many?
Probably under 200. Mark Cavendish has done something like one. It's either one. I may have read the same piece. 135. I reckon Merckx has probably done nearly 200.
Okay. Sammy?
No, I literally
no idea.
I'd
Okay.
be stabbing in the dark.
So Merckx is in first place with 279 pro wins.
That's a lot.
Any guesses as to who's second?
Jacques Anquetil.
That's a good guess, but no. Sammy, no?
No.
Mariana Vos.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, of course.
Mariana Vos with 255.
Yeah.
So she is cooking on gas.
I'd have thought she was too young to amass.
She won her first World Cyclocross title 19 years ago.
It's amazing.
There's a pop quiz fact for you.
Absolutely incredible.
It's scary because she could win some more.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you always think of Merckx. Naturally, when you talk about it, you think of Merckx. And then you start wondering, but actually, she's not far off as far as... In fact, she's very close compared to anybody else.
Go back, for those listeners who've only just joined us, if you go back to episode 2 or 3, we spoke about she be considered the greatest cyclist of all time rather than Merckx.
Yeah. Because, I mean, she's just done phenomenally well.
I would love to see her beat that record.
That
would be something else.
Yeah. It'll be a tall order, but that'll be insane.
Yeah. Especially because of her age and with the way the women's peloton's going now.
Absolutely. Any guesses who's in third? Mark Cavendish. 165, which is miles off the other two, right? So then I started having a look at to who may get there this year to 100, not beating Merckx, but to 100.
Because Pogacar's on at 89 or something.
88.
Yeah.
Alongside Primož Roglič on 88.
Sorry, is this pro wins or pro crashes?
No, pro wins. No. If it was pro crashes, then Roglič is he's winning.
279.
Merckx doesn't have a chance. But interestingly, Tadej Pogačar is only 26. Roglič is 35. Lorena Wiebes on 93.
Wow.
And she's 25 years old.
She'll probably get there first.
More than Poggy, younger than Poggy.
There's a lot of sprints in women's racing.
Mm-hmm. So that's a very good point, actually. Although the actual opportunities to win are less, there's more sprints, I guess.
And also, Wiebes is actually quite adaptable, so she's quite good on an uphill sprint. She's not a flat track bully like someone like Cavendish. She can win if there's an uphill rise, and it's only sort of Charlotte Kool and Elisa Balsamo who can really go up against her. And I think, 8 times out of 10 she'd beat them.
Yeah. So she's got a good chance of going a long way at 25 if she carries on riding. Arnaud Demar, he's up at 97.
He won't beat it. Well, so Arnaud Demar is interesting because he now races for, is it Arkea? He now races for, and they are part of a French championship. So there's some races, and you can see them all. You used to be able to watch them on Eurosport. We can talk about that later.
Yes,
but there's this French league that all the French teams enter.
Yeah.
So he's got a chance of beating it, but it's unlikely to be World Tour wins.
Yeah, for sure. And the other one that's up there's Alexander Kristoff. He's got 96. He needs 4 more.
I mean, he's towards the end of his career,
37.
so that's going to be tough.
Yeah.
But I, again, would like to see him do it. The things holding him back are those ridiculous aero helmets that X have to wear. They have to wear those sweet protection helmets that just look ridiculous.
Do they make you go faster though?
No, they make you look like a pirate.
Like a pirate.
Wait, are you talking about the road ones or the TT ones?
It's called it begins with a T. The name is Tucker, the Sweet Protection Tucker. If everyone's watching this, go and look up Sweet Protection Tucker. And it's kind of, you remember they had the aero ones, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of the TT ones, and they've shortened it essentially, and it just looks like a pirate's hat.
But left the front.
Hey, you're gonna win the sprint or walk the plank.
Seriously, I was reading about Walk the Plank. It's not what we think. It was mean. Anyway, but that's just not the right podcast. But
Yeah, no, that's our history off spin.
Can you imagine me on a history podcast? I mean, literally, you couldn't get anything worse. And you're like, Jono would be very good at a history podcast, actually.
Very high praise, Lee. Thank you.
No, yeah, Jono knows all sorts of stuff about history that, I definitely don't.
To be fair, Jono knows all sorts of stuff about a lot of things. I would go a bit further than that.
But history in particular.
Right.
Yeah, really.
Right.
Quite,
What's your era, Jono? Boer War.
Actually, it's pretty broad. Roman history, I like. Some medieval. Some contemporary as well. My head stores
that really is
random
broad.
facts. Yeah,
Because that's like all of history.
pretty much. But I mean, okay, it's not like I store random facts and then they just sort of come out. Here and there.
Talking about Roman history, we really are deviating, so forgive me. But my 9-year-old, our youngest, was outraged this week because obviously we've teach him a little bit about Roman numerals, and that's when the term numerals is used. So in maths, they said they had to write what was written as a word. So 3,000 was written as a word, and it said, please write these in numerals. So he's going for it. Roman numerals. He's cooking on gas. The teacher picks it up, looks at it, and starts laughing. And Blue's like, hang on a second. Why are you laughing at me? He's like, well, what is this? He's like, it's Roman numerals. And she was like, well, no, you just need to write the numbers. She said, you said numerals. But he connected numerals with Roman numerals.
Yeah.
And he came home, he's like, she laughed at me. She thought I wasn't, and she was like, and I got them all right anyway. We're like, Blue, you're a star, dude. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Cooking on gas.
Yeah.
Anyway, we divert. Winter clothing. I wanted to have a look. Sam's cheating. Winter clothing. I wanted to know what your method of, not method of getting dressed, but so some people layer, some people have particular items that they wear all the time. I know Sam's quite different because he cooks, he gets quite hot. Dale, your 2 favorite items of winter clothing to start with?
2. I can't do 2. Can I do 3?
No, you can do 2.
I can't do 2.
Okay.
I need to do 3.
What's your first one?
So, first one, in the winter, Rafa Court bibs.
Okay.
Don't spend the extra money on getting the protein versions, which are 300 quid.
Yeah.
The ones that are £110 are perfectly adequate. They're warm. They're tight in all the right places. They've got a good pad. And I've got 3 or 4 pairs of them. And I swear by them. Really, really good.
Yeah.
Second, Spats Neotoes. Right? Not the full booties, not the full length booties that we have a special nickname for.
Yeah.
Not the half length booties, which we've got another special nickname for, but just the Neotoes. Because they're really adaptable. You can put them under other things. So you can put them under an overshoe, you can put them under an over sock, but basically they just keep your toes warm.
Thing. A sock is not, we'll get you socks. Okay, Sam, yours, because he's had 2.
I feel like I should pick over socks now, just to annoy him.
But so that the toes go underneath an overshoe.
You put them underneath an overshoe. Now, you would say that is ridiculous. However, the latest system that Spats brought out this winter is exactly that. Is they've gone to selling the full length boot with an oversock in the same pack because they've realised it is the right way to keep your toes warm.
A full length boot.
Yeah.
And an oversock.
And a special oversock that's just for that boot.
Okay, and boot, you just mean
I mean
the
like
front bit?
one of the full length ones.
Oh, right.
With an oversock, yeah. Yeah.
And
If I could use a nickname, it'd be so much easier.
Well, no, I was just about to say, how hard are you trying?
Can you see it? Can you see my eyes? Like?
No, but hold on a second. Whoa. So you're basically putting on a full neoprene boot, and then you're putting a sock over it.
No, you put a neoprene toe cover.
Yes.
And then you put a full neoprene boot over the top of that.
Yes.
That's what they're selling now.
Oh.
And I'm saying, buy the Neotoes, which are £23. You don't need, and then you don't need to spend £200 on this thing that they sell.
Yeah.
And then over that, I will put an oversock if it's not super cold. Like today, when I rode to work this morning, I had the Neotoes with an oversock. If it is a bit wet, you can then put another neoprene boot over the top. But what you end up with is, I've found that the full length spats items, you end up with really sweaty, wet shins because they've got like this special furry thing, and it's just uncomfortable. And they don't actually keep the water out anyway. Yeah. So there's no way of keeping water out your feet. It's impossible because there's holes in the shoes.
You've got to keep them warm,
right? You've got to keep them warm. And
gaffer tape.
You can use gaffer tape, but like I don't put gaffer tape on £400 shoes. So I think that is
What's
the
point of having
Neotones.
£400 shoes if they're going to get wet? You may as well put
it's amazing in the summer.
Put gaffer tape on the inside. Then no one can see the sun.
And the last one, before you jump on, the new Polartec Alpha base layers that have got like the little grid mesh stuff are absolute game changers. Really, really good. And help with the layering.
Spats again?
No, I've got a map one that's really, really good. And there's Rafa now make their deep winter one out of this mesh material as well. They're really, really good. Really good.
I would love to, because I haven't had a look and just know what the science is behind the mesh, because it seems to work really well. I've got a couple of.
It's traps a layer of air. There's additional air against your body. And it's the air that warms up and keeps you warm.
It works really well.
Yeah.
Well, if you think about like the old days when people would have like mesh vests and stuff like that, it's been around for ages. That technology.
Was that not mail that stopped people from stabbing you?
No, I'm just talking about like old school cyclists who would wear like.
Yes. Yeah. I thought you were like going way
back into the history podcast.
Yeah, back to the history times. I'm like,
no, calm down, Jono. Calm down.
You're getting excited, John. Okay, Sam, let's see if you can do two. Your two favorite ones.
Yeah, I can think of two. They're quite different. So, like, one of them is actually really old. And you know, when you have something that's got like holes in and it's like tired and you still love it to bits. Yeah. I've got an old
Dale doesn't know
merino base layer, and it fits me really well. And it's the kind of thing that if it gets wet, it doesn't really matter. It still keeps you warm. Yeah. Whereas I find that anything that isn't like wool just tends to get wet and then you just get chilly every time the wind blows on you. Yeah. And then the other one is actually something quite recent, which is No Pin's answer to the Castelli Gabba kind of thing. Yeah. So it's like, it's slim fitting, it's quite tight, but it's got windproof panels where you need them. Because I just don't wear jackets. I get too hot in them. Or I just find that even if you're wearing this jacket and it's raining, you're getting wet on the inside because it's just not breathing properly. Yeah. So I've always been the kind of person who just wears something like close to skin, and I just don't layer as much as other people basically.
Yeah, and sometimes you'll wear a gilet, right?
Yeah, sometimes I wear a gilet, but I have
wild.
Yeah,
I
mean that's got to be really cold.
Sometimes I wear a gilet. Like I went out on Saturday, I had 3 layers on, including the jacket.
Oh, he's like a furnace. I mean, it's ridiculous.
No, I'd freeze. I have to have loads of layers on.
Yeah. No, my layering's changed over time because I used to wear the gilet so much more, but it was kind of because I really liked having a close-fitting jersey that wasn't windproof, so that it can be form-fitting, and then the gilet over the top to give me some like windproofing and like it was slightly fleecy. But the layering's got so good, I find recently, that like it can just all be built in, so you can wear fewer layers because they've found like clever ways of not making it bulky, basically. Yeah.
So you don't wear the gilet anymore? You don't?
I do occasionally, but I kind of wore it out of a necessity because I just found that either I was wearing like something that wasn't warm enough or something that was too bulky, and there wasn't like an in between. But now I just feel like with the advent of things like the Gabba, they do everything. It's like you just put your base layer on, you slap that on, done. There's and I used to like layer up like an onion, and now I just feel like I just put 2 or 3 layers on, I'm good.
Yeah, I think kit is definitely getting better, right? There's no doubt about it. Some I know is marketing hype and they're just trying to sell, but kit is getting better. There are some products that are just better than they used to be. Yeah,
it's an interesting one. Before we come to your choices, there are lots of different thoughts about this, but a lot of people agree that ASOS make very, very good winter kit, and they have a layering strategy. Yeah. However, they've just brought out a new version of their sort of totemic top of the range jacket. It's £610. 610 for a winter jacket.
That's
insane.
Well,
it is insane, right? And it's got like a little half gilet underneath. So inside it's got like a gilet that's sewed in, but it's only like half length, which is a bit odd because it doesn't matter if you're shaped like me, you still look like you've got a massive beer belly. Yeah. And then, but it's £600, and I'm like, you can buy 3 other ones for the same price, and they do almost like 90% of the job. You don't need to spend that amount of money. It's crazy.
Are you tempted though?
No, but I am tempted by the one that's like £300.
Yeah, because 600 and something quid is just astronomical.
Yeah, they've got one that's the Habu, I think it's called, which is like £300. I think I might invest some money in one of those. Yeah, it's supposed to be very good. What about you, Lee? What are your choices for winter riding?
Gabba. I have lived in Gabbas for I don't know the last 7 or 8 years. I think I buy them in batches of 3 and then just carry on. And I think with commuting to and from normally, it's just easy. I know what it does. I know how warm it is. I know what you need to put on underneath to keep you warm or over the top if it's really cold. So it's a good point. What do you put over the top then? If it's really cold, what would you put over the top of a Gabba? So if it's like really cold, so it's below 0 and it's actively trying to kill you, then I'll put a rain jacket over the top. Yep. So, but then it's got to be like properly freezing. Yeah. Or else a Enduro 260, I think it is, the slightly padded gilet. Mm-hmm. I stick that over the top because you can just unzip it if it gets too hot and it's fine. And often if you're commuting, it's one temperature on the way into work and a different temperature on the way home, which is highly annoying. Mm-hmm. But I guess I just got into the Gabba, if it gets wet, if it's not too cold and it gets wet, then you still stay warm, I guess. And I think the biggest reason I've done it is just for consistency. It's just easy. I know what it is. I know how warm it's going to be or cold. So it takes all the decision making times out of it. And I don't have different colors, black is black and off you go. My second one is, what is the second one?
It's a good job I picked 3.
Well, I'm trying to, I get the whole getting sweaty shins thing with full or half length.
See how hard it is?
It's so hard. But I still like them. I still think if it's cold enough, they keep me warm. And you do get sweaty shins. You get sweaty other stuff as well. I mean, does it really make a difference? I just feel like they've now become so expensive. Spats by comparison. I haven't bought and the rest of the industry's caught up. So now, like this year, they're quite delicate as well. Like it's very easy to put a nail through a pair of spats, believe it or not. Yeah. And this year, decided to get some replacements. And my friend Blake, who's an elite racer, said, "Don't get them. Get these specialised ones, which are just the same. They've even got the Kevlar reinforced heel. £36. Yeah, in the sale. Winner.
How long are they though? The specialised ones?
They're like the half length. They're not full length. They're like the half. So they come up to here, above the top of your sock. But they're £36, and like a pair of spats now is like £80 or £90.
The only reason I have spats is because at the time there was nobody else doing them. Exactly. That's why I have spats. But if I was to go and replace them now, I certainly wouldn't stick to spats. I'd go and have a look and see what's out there. It's the concept that I like, that it comes up quite high. And I think it does help a little bit, if it's been raining overnight and the road is very wet, that splash doesn't get in. Whereas if I just use a pair of winter shoes, which I also do quite enjoy, just a pair of winter shoes, then sometimes if it's too wet, it gets splashy.
But if it's wet now, another top recommendation, put your spats Neotoes on, and Velolife now make a product that doesn't tear when you look at it. Yeah. And that's the silicone overboot, right? Which is the same thing as their latex one, but it's got 2 studs on the bottom, so you can actually do it up, and it's made out of silicone, so it doesn't, and they're brilliant for keeping the water out.
So you've got some?
Yeah, I've got
Yeah,
I've got like 3 sets.
I
Because
tried a
I saw
pair.
them and I was like, I wonder if they're that much more, like tear resistant. And
Yeah, they
You
are.
think they are?
Yeah, they are.
Interesting.
100%.
I tried a pair once and vowed I would never use them again.
Well, the silicone ones or actual
No,
devices?
the original. I couldn't get them on.
It's
They
a
were
torture
mission to
device.
get-
It's a
Oh
torture
my
device
gosh!
to
And
get
for
them
somebody who's not very flexible, it was not a joy. That's for sure.
Mm.
You said something and I wanted to ask. No, it's gone. Doesn't matter. So yeah, I think those, and then gloves. I don't like thick gloves. So gloves that I can put liners into. Also, once again, commuting, right in with a liner, right out without a liner.
So which gloves do you use?
I use Castelli. I can't remember the model. It's got a non-padded leather palm, like a neoprene pro. They are not waterproof, but I use those with a pair of liners, and those are great. I do have a pair of Barber. I want to say Barber, but it looks like a knitted glove. Actually, I will come back next time with the actual name, so I don't myself. And when somebody gave them to me and somebody said, listen here, try these. And I thought, I'm never going to wear those. That's ridiculous. What kind of knitted booties, they are brilliant.
Just like over socks.
They fit. I've never, ever, ever worn a pair of over socks ever in my life. I just think it's ridiculous. I know I might be on my own. I know it might be uncool. I just think they are ridiculous.
No, I tried them because, believe it or not, like when I was racing as like a youth and a junior, that was a cool thing to have like white over socks.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, they have absolutely no benefit.
No.
I don't. I've never worn them since.
No. I just think it's
thing.
ridiculous.
They do keep your feet a little bit warmer.
And I don't believe you. I think it's all
they
in
do
your
have
mind.
They do have a benefit. How can you say it's all in your mind? You've never used them. Like that is an utterly ridiculous thing to say.
That's why I said I think it's
They
all
are.
in your mind.
They do keep your feet warmer. And also,
but Sam's used
they
them and
come-
he agrees.
they come over your
Pointless.
ankles, so you don't get the wind around your ankles. If you actually rode a bike, you'd realise that does happen to people.
Do your bibs not cover your ankles?
What are you talking about? Of course they don't. Of course they don't.
Your bibs come halfway up your shins, don't they?
My bibs come to the right place, just above the ankle, about 2 inches above.
Okay, I'm just checking.
What gloves do you wear, Sam? Or do you get
I
warm
love
hands
it.
as well? Do you?
I hate wearing gloves. If I can, I will not wear gloves.
So what
Yeah.
is the temperature? Here we go. What temperature is it, glove or no glove?
I reckon 10 degrees, and I'll
Yeah.
try not to wear them.
Yeah. Absolutely.
8.
8.
8 is the number.
No, it's 10.
No, it's 8. If it's 8, you can get away with no gloves.
Okay, yeah. So for me, it's 10. If it's above 10 degrees, that's it. I will not bother. Below 10, then I'm like, and sometimes I guess you take them off. So maybe 8 is, but 10 degrees.
I'd
is-
always rather have them like in my pocket. I'll start the
Mhm.
ride. I'll have a pair of like fleecy gloves in my back pocket that can fold up small.
It's amazing the difference it makes when you start getting cold. If you whack a pair of gloves on, all of a sudden, it's
Yeah,
like,
for sure. For sure.
it's crazy. It's
So do you have
absolutely-
like, I have sort of gloves, if it's like, if it's right on the cusp, I've got some Defeat wool, merino wool ones. Then if I know it's sort of 8 down to about 3
Yeah.
or 2, I have Castelli Perfetto Ross gloves, which are kind of semi-windproof. They're not waterproof, but
Yeah,
they're very windproof. Then below that, I wear Rafa Gore-Tex deep winter gloves.
I'm not entirely sure what John is up to
Are
right
you
now.
twerking?
Could you turn the music off from your phone that's playing through the speaker, please?
Just turn the speaker off at the top.
Ah.
Is that better?
Very good. I was wondering where that was coming from. So we've had a static
Didn't
shot
even
on
know- didn't
Dale
know
for the
that.
last 45 seconds, but never mind.
Anyway, yeah, that was. He did look like he was twerking, didn't he? Anyway, yes, and then what after that?
Rafa deep winter gloves, like the new Gore-Tex ones. But they are almost too warm. You know when you kind of take them off at the coffee shop and you put them back on, they're a bit damp? They're kind of like that. But they do keep the cold out.
Yeah.
They are very, very good.
Sammy, didn't you have some lobster gloves?
Did
Yeah, I
years
quite
ago.
like layering. So I have like a decent set of liners.
Yeah.
And so I've got some ASOS like just thermal gloves.
Yes.
And I'll stick them underneath.
John, seriously, dude, you're causing chaos over there in the corner today. Nice. Not. Anyway, sorry, Sam.
I tried to maintain composure while we just heard a trickle up.
It's like there's a bar over in the corner, and he's like preparing cocktails.
If you don't mention it, I can get it out.
Either that or there's a toilet in the corner. One of the two. I was just a bit concerned.
Literally, the only person in the room who knows it can be edited out. So he's like, I do what I want.
Yeah.
Well, I can't edit it now that it's all been raised on the podcast.
No, you guys do you want to do it now? Finish pouring your glass. We'll wait for you, Johnny. There you go. Anyway, yes, Sam, you like to layer. You have some Assos
I like
liners.
to layer. So I have some liners. They can be whatever, but I got the Assos as a gift and they're lovely.
Yeah.
And I'll put them underneath something that's got some windproofing or waterproofing.
Yeah.
So like the lobsters were just like well reviewed, and I got them ages ago and they just lasted. And to be fair, keeping your fingers together does kind of, I think it's more, it's not that. I think it's like index and then the rest, I think.
Oh, because they're the special ones for like changing gear, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So a lot of them are like this.
Yeah.
Because Spats, this episode is not sponsored by Spats, but they make the gloves that have got the little fold out thing. Have you seen them?
Yes.
Utter rubbish. I bought a pair of those.
I don't know
Absolute
why
garbage. Because it doesn't fold away properly. So you've got this big bulge, like you've got some kind of growth
That's
on the back of your hand.
Not cool.
And then when you do take them out, like it's the thinnest like nylon that goes over it. It makes no difference, and you can't use anything properly. They are completely rubbish. So do not buy Spats gloves because they're not good.
I always saw Sam wearing his lobster gloves, and I'm like, I can't do that. Do you wear mitts?
What's a mitt? No, because I'm not 4.
Okay, no, I was just asking. Nor do I.
No.
Long finger glove or no glove, right?
Yeah. The thing about mitts, you end up with that funny little tan line, don't you? On you, so if you wear mitts,
Yeah, but what's the point?
you get
of
pink
mitts?
hands, and it looks like little rat's feet. So you get rat hands.
I'm reasonably brown, so I must look like a sewer rat. Are they originally designed because handlebar tape used to be basically non-existent and handlebars were very thin, and
I think they do have a place in pro racing when the chances of you like slipping off and grazing yourself are much higher.
Yeah,
I would totally wear them all the time because the difference between that and just like the palm of your hand grating into the tarmac,
fair enough.
and then having to jump back on, especially in a stage race the next day, and having to put your destroyed hands
on.
Yeah,
Maybe you wear the gloves the day.
That's a fair point.
Yeah.
I just don't like anything with padding on them. So anything that's got like a gel insert or a pad on, I'm like, no. It's just it seems to apply pressure in it. But I understand that bar tape has got much better, and than it was back in the day. So okay.
I think it's mainly for the crashing thing, isn't it? Just the protection.
I think so.
Do you wear overshoes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got ones that will literally, they're made by Orca Triathlon Company. They literally just cover the shoe. So if you want to put something on in a hurry, they're great. Because whereas the Velotos take you like half an hour, these take like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
They're really good.
But look like you've got an orthopedic shoe on.
An orthopedic shoe?
They look like special shoes, don't they?
Especially if you put them over
the bonds.
The bonds. You cut a pair of overshoes. No, you cut a pair of Velotos.
Yes.
So that they just went over the shoe.
Yeah, until you bought the Orcas.
Yeah.
And he looks like he got clogs on with those Orca covers.
Yeah.
It's very convenient. But then I have Velotos for if it's like kind of wet but not like super cold. And then I'll have the Spats for when it's like kind of lots of surface water. Yeah, exactly like you say, when you get splattered, it's quite nice to just have that coverage. And you know what? I know it makes your shins sweaty, but I honestly don't notice until the end of the ride, and I take them off and I'm like,
nor do I.
Gross.
Other top tip, if it's warm and it's a bit wet, Grip Grab make something called the Flandrian Oversock, and that's basically a sock but with a waterproof membrane in, and those are really, really good as well, and they actually keep your feet quite warm. So if you don't want to go sort of for neoprene boots, but you know it's going to be wet, those are great. I commute in those all the time.
And neither of you wear winter shoes?
No.
In fact, I just have one pair of shoes.
I can't claim to have one pair of shoes.
No, we know.
But I've tried wind shoes and I just didn't get on with them at all. I thought the fit was a bit off, probably because they're expecting you to wear like bigger socks and stuff. And actually they're not quite as stiff. Now I know they've changed because I tried them a lot of years ago. I tried some Northwave ones, which I know you've got some Northwave shoes, but I just found them they're just a bit flexy by comparison.
Yeah, absolutely.
But there's a big push again now. I think there are some really high quality shoes you can buy, but they're quite expensive. They're like 300 quid a pair.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt about it. I have Northwave ones because I don't like the boots, winter boots. I'm not about that life. But they are definitely flexy for sure. They are nowhere near as stiff. But I use them quite a lot actually, because then I don't have to wear a half shoe cover or a toe and a sock or a blah 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 blah. You know, I just whack a shoe on and off I go. And in particular for commuting, I kind of the convenience outweighs the lack of stiffness.
Because this year they've just bought one out that's got the same sole as their top of the range shoes. The top of the range Northwave shoes is Velolife Extreme, and they've just bought out a winter shoe that's got the same sole.
When you say they, are we talking Northwave?
Northwave, yeah. Sorry, Northwave. Beg your pardon.
Very few other people do them actually. They're actually quite difficult to find. You can find boots. Specialized do boots. Shimano, I think, do boots. Loads of boots, but no shoes. And I don't want a boot.
Yeah.
No, if Bont made some boots, I'd consider it for sure. But I just, nothing else really fits.
Yeah.
But actually, which reminds me, have you seen the spy shots of the new S-Works shoe?
Yes.
They're round like Bont.
They are round. They've got rounded toes.
I've not seen them.
Yeah, they're kind of, they've got the same sort of foot shape as Bonts, but they're it's a bit more like the old S-Works Aries, you know, the ones that have the sprinter shoe.
It's not the strap.
Yeah, those things are horrible. These new ones look a lot better.
Yeah, but it's like it's not made out of the sock-like material, so a bit more, substantial.
Okay, all right. So the interesting thing is that when you speak to anybody, it's most is about layering, right? The other thing is that the more you ride, the more variations you have. Whereas I know some people who just ride bits and pieces, but also in the winter, but they have one pair of winter shoes, one winter jacket, and whether it's 5 degrees or 15 degrees, that jacket is the one they wear. And I mean, I know we have one gentleman who comes into the cafe who wore his Gore.
Yeah, he did.
GTX, was it? I think.
It was on the shake dries.
Yes, and he wore that no matter what. If it was below 15 degrees, that's what he wore. Sometimes with shorts, sometimes with longs. It was just, that was it. But it appears that the longer you've been riding for and the more often you ride, the more you kind of try and be the optimum temperature kind of thing in situation. And layering definitely seems to be the answer. Buffs. Where we're at with riding with buffs?
When it's really cold, I quite like having something like, sometimes I'll have it like over my nose if it's really cold, or just like literally just up to the chin. It makes a difference. I've got a merino one actually. So again, I kind of appreciate that because it doesn't go cold when it's wet.
Yeah.
I've got to say I don't use it all that much.
Don't you use a buff?
Yeah, if it's sort of below 3 degrees, I will wear one. I've got a Rafa merino one, the neck warmer. I think it's brilliant. Really, really good. You pull it over. I find that actually just like pulling it just over your chin, just underneath your bottom lip.
Oh, you're one of those.
Is like, and riding around.
Reminds me of Hayden.
Nice. We all know he's a legend.
Yeah, I just get too hot, which is why I don't wear it.
But then you just take it off, stick it in your pocket.
I'm going to get too hot anyway. There's no point in bringing it.
But taking
from the get-go.
Taking a buff off means like helmet off, sunglasses off.
The only time
I
think we may have chatted about this on the podcast before. The only time I do have a buff that I've actually cut that I will put over my ears if it's below 0, because once again, the minute the temperature goes below 0, it's basically actively trying to kill you, right? Because it's trying to freeze you, and that means death. So I don't want my ears to fall off, but I can't have it over my head and my ears. I'm just
I like when it gets that cold, like today, wore the ear warmer over my ears.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Eurosport. Let's have a quick.
I've never paid for it, so no loss to me.
Yeah.
I think the issue, right? So cycling has got to pay for itself.
Yeah.
And the way it's been paying for itself is by these people that have been buying it. So you remember when GCN brought out GCN Plus, which is a great solution because you got the cycling, but you also got access to their content.
Yeah.
And I think for cyclists and people interested in cycling, it was a really interesting offering.
Yeah.
Then the chap who owns what's got a company called Play Sports, who owned GCN, sold out to Warner Brothers Discovery.
Yeah.
And then that's when Discovery took it over and Discovery Plus. So I paid for Discovery Plus because I like watching cycling a lot. £6 a month is what it costs. The issue now is to be able to watch any of the sports offering that's going to be on what's called TNT. It's £30.99 a month. You know, to go up by 5 times the cost per month is massive. And you're paying for the other sports. So if you were paying for Discovery, just because you fancy watching a little bit of cycling, £6 a month is probably manageable, right? Not for everybody, but it's manageable. 30 quid is different. 30 quid is like Sky TV kind of, baseline cost. So I think it's how much they charge. I don't mind paying for the content. I don't mind paying to watch these things. What I do mind about is when you charge me 5 times the amount per month.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm the same. I pay for Discovery because I want to watch the cycling. But I just think £30 is too much. And I don't watch any of the other sports. The only sport I watch is cycling.
Oh, yeah, I'm not interested in snooker.
No, exactly. And snooker's always on BBC anyway, or ITV, one of the two. So, it's one of those sports that's always for free. But I just, £30 is just too much. But then what do we do? How do we watch cycling?
Well, you could resort to illegal methods of watching it. And I think a lot of people will do that because there are streams out there. There are networks you can go on and you can see a stream, and it might have, like, say, foreign commentary, but you can do it. I think if you want to watch the Flemish classics and stuff, you can watch Sporza. You can go online to the Sporza website. Sporza is a Belgian sports channel, and they've got amazing coverage. And actually, someone in a group chat I was in said, actually, if you watch it with Flemish commentary, it's better anyway, even if you don't know what they're saying. It just sounds amazing. like watching the Tour of Flanders with Flemish commentary is brilliant. But I think a lot of people will not pay, and they will resort to illegal streaming online. Yeah, and besides the ethical side of illegal streaming, I'm just not clever enough to be able to find it. I mean, sometimes I've looked for something that hasn't been streamed, and you get all these weird feeds, and they do this, and then someone's like, get this VPN, and I'm like, so I either pay or don't watch it. I really like not being in prison. I mean, if I had to go to prison, it would not be for illegally streaming like Tro Bro Leon, where they win a pig. No, I'm with you all the way. And I would never advise, or there's another word I'm looking for when you say it's okay. What's that word? Advocate or condone illegal streaming. It's just not my bag. Thanks, Jono. Yep. I just think £30 a month going from, as you say, $6.99 is just ridiculous. I think the price will come down. I think they will see subscribers drop off. Yeah, it's too much. Having said that, I have subscribed. I would just like to caveat that. I haven't. So all of our racing commentary and chats will all come from Dale because he's currently the only one that can watch any of it. I've got to say, it's rare that I'm that desperate to watch a cycle race anymore. I think it's because I have moved towards triathlon, and all those races are free to watch anyway. I'm never gonna desperately seek out. And when you say they're free to watch, that is online streams. Generally, is that where you generally watch triathlons? YouTube Live. Probably like Ironman's own website. But cycling, there's been a lot of commentary about cycling in the news and how it doesn't have a business model. So David Miller's come out and said, quite publicly, that cycling doesn't have a business model. And his contention is that really cycling, if you think about it from the view of the populace, is that it's the Tour de France, right? That is cycling. And that's owned by a French company called ASO, who also own the rights to the Vuelta and Paris-Roubaix. So though, whatever ASO want to do, generally everyone has to fall in and follow suit. And they have sold the rights to those races to Discovery, Warner Brothers Discovery, who are also in TNT. So, I mean, you'll remember that this year, 2025, is going to be the last year that ITV will show highlights of the tour. That won't happen anymore. Highlights even? Yeah, they won't have it. They won't have any tour rights, I don't think. And so, it's certainly they won't be able to show the live parts. They may have to pay for a highlight show. So the only way you'll be able to watch live tour stages from 2026 will be if you pay £30.99 to Discovery. Yeah, it's mental. It is. Anyway. It is crazy. And what happens then is ASO make loads of money. Great for you, but people stop watching cycling. Yeah. Because it's just inaccessible and it's slightly elitist to have it as a pay to view only. And then what does that do for getting people into cycling and for all those encouraging things? It can only have negative. Only going to be negative, especially in England.
I mean, we're struggling as it is, right? It's only going to get worse if nobody's exposed to it, you know. And I know loads of people who don't watch other cycling, but they watch the Tour. There's no ways they're going to pay £30 a month to watch the Tour.
Exactly, that's exactly the
I
point.
wonder if they'll do like an independent subscription for the Tour, that you could pay like £10 and watch the Tour.
That would be a clever thing to do.
I don't think
It's
they will.
a great idea. Yeah, I mean, I imagine they won't, but if it is a great idea, and I think people would take them up on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. The Dale scale.
Mm.
Rafael Micah.
So I used to really dislike Rafael Micah, and he used to sit in the wheels. He just used to jump at the end. I didn't really like him as a rider. However, in recent times, as he's got a bit older now, because I think he's probably approaching sort of the latter years of his career, he's been riding as a domestique for Pogacar, and actually he's done some amazing work as a cyclist.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliantly amazing work, and I've got a newfound respect for Micah because of his time spent. He's not the guy that I thought he was.
Yeah. He was a domestique at Sky as well, wasn't he?
No, don't think he's ridden for Sky now.
Must be getting something muddled up. Yeah, I mean, as an individual rider, I don't, particularly. Yeah, as you say, sit on the wheels, try something at the end, not really always get it right either. So it's not even like that sitting in the wheels is worth it to a degree. But he does work hard, that's for sure.
He does now, yeah. But, he's not, he hasn't done anything worthy of taking him past the Froome line.
No, I would agree. I don't think so either.
My first memory of him though is, and I can't confess to know much about him, but my first memory is that he was on some kind of gutsy breakaway, and didn't he get like the polka dot for a period of time?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Did he get it overall?
Might have.
Yeah,
might have done.
That's like what I remember. And then after that, he just seemed to work for other people and became a little bit less interesting.
Yeah. I think he's just getting older now, and he rides for Team UAE. XRG, they call the seniors now, the UAE XRG. So not that anyone would know, because it cost me £30 to find that out. So yeah, he's just a domestique now.
Okay, so where's he going? Left of the Froome line, for sure.
Yeah.
Is he going near Caden Groves?
No, he's better than Caden Groves, I think.
Okay, so then we've got Jonas. We've got Caden Groves, Jonas.
About there, about where Jonas is, similar to that.
Stick him in here. Oof, Jonas, that's rough. Lotte Kopecky.
Yeah, you see, I think Lotte Kopecky is a great rider, and she's not needy like Demi Vollering. and Lotte Kopecky, right, can ride anything. She's like a modern day Marianne Vos.
Yeah.
Right? There's a very real chance she's going to win one of the 3 women's Grand Tours this year. They've all, SD Works and Anna van der Breggen's come out of retirement and said she's going to ride for Lotte Kopecky. Yeah. I think they're really going to take it to Demi Vollering when we get to the Tour de France Femme avec Zwift, I think is its full title. She's won Roubaix, Flanders. She rides the track. She's an absolute beast on the track. I think she's ace.
I think she's great as well, and I think she's great for cycling. I think she's like, well, okay, if I have to go now, I'm going to go now. And if it doesn't work, then I'll wait, and then I'll go again later. And she has just an incredible never give up, but not just hanging around, never giving up. She's like, well, if you want to win, you have to beat me, basically. And I love that about her. I think it's absolutely wonderful. She's like, if you want to win, that's fine, but you have to beat me. You're not just going to, ride to the front.
And she'll sit there in the World Champ stripes and work and lead out Lorena Vibas as well. She doesn't mind working for the team. I've got a lot of time for Kopecky.
Where's she going then?
Oh, right, way right at the Froome line. She's ace.
So
who's the highest person so far?
Wout van Aert, Marianne Vos, and Nino Schurter all camped pretty much together.
Yeah, I'd definitely put her up there. Maybe even a little bit past. Maybe even a bit past.
Higher than Vos?
Well, yeah, because she's our Vos. Like, Vos is coming towards the end. This is our new Vos. She is at the vanguard of women's cycling now. And like, she rides
Vos.
every type of Every type of cycling you can imagine, short of riding a mountain bike. I think she's great.
Okay, that's fine. I'm not going to argue with you.
Lee's struggling because I can just see he's trying to squeeze it in to quite a small
I've now had to change what the lines look like so I know which ones. Sam, can you please do us a Dale scale?
We need to digitize this, don't we? Yeah.
And I can never spell anybody's name, so that's always interesting.
Adam Yates. It's also a great name. Lotte Kopecky.
Oh, Yates. Well, I'm having to think, make sure I get the right one. No, I'm only joking. Adam Yates. One of the things that always has annoyed me about the Yates brothers is when they do an English interview, they speak with the intonation of like a French or a Spanish person. So they've lived abroad for so long that they talk to you and their voice goes up at the end and they sound like they're talking in French. And I'm just like, why are you doing this? You're from Bury, you're from like up north. And he's a nice enough rider, right? And he's like one of those, I think he's probably of a different era in that you used to have pure climbers like your Robert Millers, right? Yeah. And those kind of guys. And cycling's gone past that. You need to be much more of an all-rounder, whereas they're out-and-out climbers. So their time trialing is just woeful, right?
Yeah.
But, looks absolutely fine on a bike. I think, they kind of...
Looks absolutely fine on a bike.
They've got that really sitting forward thing that some short riders have. But I think that's...
Is that what bothers you? I can see that you're really square.
I think that biomechanically...
It's just not a person. If you said to me, name a couple of guys who look really good on a bike, they would just not come to mind.
Yeah.
I think it's the Scott helmets.
It's definitely those helmets are not cool.
That's Simon Yates.
Yeah, but nonetheless, between the two of them, right? But okay, I'm not so sure. They do sit very far forward though.
Yeah, but like cycling's going that way, isn't it? Cycling is going like further forward on the bike, short cranks, open your hip angle. That's the way. Bike
Will I finally be cool because I sit so far forward?
Yeah, if you're riding 165 cranks with it as well, then for sure.
That's never going to happen.
But yeah, I don't really. I can't get too excited about Adam Yates. If someone said to me, Adam Yates is riding, it won't make me turn on and watch. If someone said Kopecky's riding, switch on.
You're on. You pay your 30 quid.
Yeah, 31.
So would you turn on to watch Caden Groves?
Absolutely not.
Okay, so Yates is down there.
Yeah.
Somewhere. Right, I'm putting him between Demi Vollering and Caden Groves.
Fine.
Because why not?
Mm.
Okay. Right, fine. Gentlemen, pod task.
I did it, but it wasn't impressive.
What time did you finish?
In the evening sometime.
What about you? What time did you finish?
No, what time did you finish?
Why asked you first, eh?
I finished at 10:39.
At night? You boys are taking it seriously. You boys are taking it well seriously. I didn't even try. Didn't even attempt it this week.
You mean I won?
Yes.
No. No. No way. I was like, I'm going to get slaughtered here. There's no chance. I was like,
I went home and I said to Liz, I'm going to get up in the middle of the night. I'm going to do this. I'm going to finish at like 4:50 in the morning. And she said to me, if you do that, there will be no wedding this year. So I was sold in no terms. At that point, I was like, well, the only way I can guarantee victory is by doing it at 4 a.m. So I was like, it's not even worth trying. It's like, go hard or go home. So I went home.
I am completely shocked because I thought there is no chance. I even thought I would get up this morning. I was like, this is the last morning. Should I do it? Should I? Because if I get beaten by a minute or something, should I just go and do it? Thank goodness I decided not to do that.
Well done. 10:39.
Good job.
Well, there goes that. I thought we were going to have like a full-on game.
No, I think I didn't even bring it up, but I imagine, because Mary's a light sleeper, if I'd even mentioned, oh, by the way, I'm going to get up at crack of dawn, she'd have been like, no, you're not. And you know Mary.
Yeah, she would have said no, that's for sure. Mm-hmm. You should have tried to get her up as well. That would have been far better. Okay, this next pod task, so it's a little bit of a rest week. Right.
Uh-huh.
I would like a review of a cafe. but it needs to be a cafe that does think the recycling cafe, right? So it doesn't need to be a full-on cycling cafe, but they need to at least kind of be cycling friendly, I guess. It would be great if it's one that we don't know a huge amount about. So there is one I know that we've been talking about trying that we haven't tried yet.
Which one's that?
Were you thinking U Bakery?
Yes. And then there is another one, maybe. I'll be completely honest, I'm not sure I'm going to get round to doing it, just because I'm not around. But yes, so it's a rest week. Although you guys had a rest week last week as well, so I'm not so sure, where we should go with this. We might, if this sort of lack of enthusiasm continues, we might have to start putting forfeits in place, I think.
Or just, positive encouragement, trophies for the winner.
Yeah, that might, yeah.
Scoreboard.
Like
Scoreboard.
What we could maybe do later on is do the winner gets to choose the next task, right? We'd have to do it like 2 weeks in advance, otherwise.
Yeah, I see.
Otherwise, you'll find out you're the winner now and won't have time to think of an interesting task.
the winner has 10 hours less on the 500 challenge to do.
Oh hell, I'm gonna win everything. That's gonna be me. That's my ticket. I could make good time back doing that.
That's what I was thinking.
I'm gonna set some tasks that I know you guys, and they're all gonna be early in the morning. I'm just gonna be like morning. Sam, so cafe review, preferably a cycling cafe. I would like to know how their coffee was, what their food was like, and how convenient it was for a cyclist. Was there someone to fill your water bottle? Could you, leave your bike somewhere? Did they not moan at you if you were wet or whatever the case is? So that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Dale, any new kit?
So before we turned the cameras on and started filming, Sam was asking me about this, and I actually haven't bought anything this week, which seems like a big ticket item. Yeah. Although I suppose there's two things of arrived, but they're not super kitty. Mm-hmm. So if you remember, I told you that I bought an Insta 360. Mm-hmm. So I bought one of those really annoying handles, like a little selfie stick, but it's designed so it edits itself out, so you can take it out on the ride with you. So I took that out on the ride with the boys on Saturday to sort of practice film some footage. Yeah. So we got one of those this week. And then you'll also remember I said that I'd bought some lights. Yeah. And I think we all acknowledge that the only real option for buying lights, front lights certainly on bikes, is exposure lights.
Yes.
And I'd bought a Nog blinder by accident because I bought another one, thought it was broken, fixed it, and ordered another one in the interim. So using the Nog blinder, took it out on the ride on Saturday. It's absolutely fine. Went to work today. Was getting the light off the bike and dropped it. Right?
Okay.
Just dropped it. Scuffed the case. Annoyed more than anything else. When I came to come home, light wouldn't switch on. So I had to cycle home from work today at like 4:30 with no front light.
Yeah, no.
Subsequently plugged it in. So it's been on charge at home for 2 hours. Yeah. Bloody thing won't switch on. So I cannot, with good conscience, recommend that our listeners buy Nog lights.
Absolutely. No, for sure. Okay. That's real life experience,
testing.
right?
Real testing.
Okay. I like it. Sam, fit tip.
Often when people think they have an issue with their saddle, it's not actually the saddle, it's the position of the saddle. So it might be worth, if you haven't been fitted, get fitted before. Could save you a heap of money of lots of trial and error that is fruitless.
Okay. There was a lot of bits and toing and froing a little bit on the WhatsApp group about coffee. And I know Sam had mentioned maybe we should do like a coffee of the week or something, but we'll run out of coffees quite quickly. So I thought what I would do is do like a single coffee tip rather than a full on.
Well, that's a good idea.
And this week's coffee tip is to never not use fresh milk. And by fresh, I don't mean out of date milk. I mean, if you have made a coffee and there's a little bit of leftover milk from heating it, that goes in the bin.
And do you just want to explain to people why that is?
Yes, because once it has broken down, it becomes very, very thin, and the proteins actually break down in the heating process, which is also why we don't serve boiling hot coffee, right? Because if you serve boiling hot coffee, number one, it burns you. Number two, it is not very sweet because the sweetness as it breaks down, it becomes less sweet, and it's very thin, so it's got no texture to it, which is why we do our coffee at a specific temperature. And old school coffee drinkers will often go, "Can I have it extra hot, please?" And just to let anybody know who is listening, if you ever go into a coffee shop that half cares about the coffee they make and you ask for an extra hot something, you are killing the barista. You are literally stabbing him a little bit or her a little bit every time you say, "Can I have it extra hot?"
I think it's akin to asking for your steak very well done.
Yes.
Or crispy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And just know that it is your preference and we will make it the way you ask for it, but we do not like you very much.
But you are wrong.
Absolutely wrong. So to all of my customers who might be listening to this, just know. Anyway, yes, do not reuse your milk. Once you've used it, it's done. Go away. Can't use it again.
Great tip.
Okay.
I've got a question for you. If someone was going to say to you, "I'm just going to buy my first coffee machine at home, just for making not just espressos, but also, I want to make a flat white at home," what would you recommend? Simple machine that makes good quality, repeatable coffee. What would you get?
It's a very difficult question. Budget would be the first question because, let's
say like maximum 300 quid.
Then I would probably try and get a second-hand baby little Gaggia, I think, because either that or buy an espresso machine. Because if you're trying to do and you want to steam milk or anything else, there is nothing really in that range. That's
this isn't quite answering the question, but I would invest more in the grinder. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
But mostly running the grinder, which is kind of like upside down of what you'd think. You need a really fancy coffee machine.
Yeah.
And the grinder could be whatever. No, do the other way around. In my opinion.
I saw a video of Matthew Vanderpool this week making his coffee before he went to the world to the cross jumps. He's got this beautiful yellow La Marzocco machine.
Oh, they are beautiful. They're $4,000, but they are absolutely beautiful. And they make an exceptional cup of coffee. The same as you would get in a coffee shop, right? Made correctly. They are a commercial machine just with a single group. They are really very, very nice. But they're also very, very expensive.
Yeah.
And you've got to stop drinking coffee at cafes for a very long time to make up that amount of money in a saving, if you know what I mean. It's, coffee machines aren't cheap. It's just that simple. So I think the thing that I often say to people is, right, you need to set your expectation first and foremost, because if you want to get what you get in a cafe, in a coffee-led cafe that makes great coffee, then you've got to spend money. Otherwise,
got to spend the money, and it's not just on the machines, on the grinder, as you say, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because you'll easily spend that on a grinder. Anyway, right, that just about wraps us up. But I wanted to say one more thing. I just want to thank you guys who are sitting here, because I so look forward to this every second week. I just, sometimes I'm like, we've got a podcast coming up and I've got to do some prep work. And every time I'm just like, I can't wait. We can just sit and talk nonsense. And I just am really enjoying it.
Feelings mutual.
So thank you very much.
It's really interesting you say that, because for those people who it might be the first time tuning in, I work at a big airport near here, and we've been in the news today, big announcement made by the Chancellor about Heathrow Airport, and it has been a really, really stressful lead up, not just for me, for a lot of my colleagues, and especially for my lovely wife to be, right? She has been mega stressed, and it's been really difficult. And I got in the car tonight and I came here and I forgot about it all. It was just like a complete, de-stress, thinking about what we need to do here for the people who are on the other end listening. So I think the pleasure has been invited to come along and just chat about something that we love. That is the pleasure.
No, it's been amazing. So thank you very much. I really, really enjoyed it. Thanks, Johnny.
Thumbs up.
And that's
for the man behind the camera.
We will catch you in a couple of weeks.
See you later.
Cheerio.